Land of the brave and a home of the free and a country full of people feel just like me.
Hey, welcome to the Sekulow Brothers podcast. I am, Jordan Sekulow.
You're Jordan Sekulow. I'm Logan Sekulow. We are excited because today's show, you may have heard for the last few weeks as we've started this, our first partner and sponsor is Lear Capital. And I know a lot of you have had questions because you're maybe new to this space. Look, we're new to this space. We're finding out a lot more information, which is really interesting. We can really dive in. And we have a great opportunity today, and that is to have on Kevin DeMeritt, who is joining us via Skype. He's the founder and chairman of Lear Capital. Again, a lot of you had questions. We're going to ask some of those questions. We're going to get into a little bit. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you and just hear a bit more about what's going on with Lear Capital. And really for people our age, I know that's something that Jordan and I talked about quite a bit before. And even when we were talking to your team, is how we approach the investment in precious metals and these kind of situations for people that are,
I just hit 40.
He just hit 40.
Our audience knows it. And so you start thinking like, yes, I've got a little bit more to decide where should I put this now. And I think for talking to that, which is different than someone who's maybe gotten used to doing that, who's in their 60s, but also needs to think about diversifying. So what would you say, like the someone like my age who maybe has enough, but do I have enough? I think that question is to start diversifying at this level.
Yeah. Look, the most important part about investing are two things. Number one is time. The more time you have, the more time you have your investments to be able to grow. The second part of it is diversification. If you put all of your eggs in one basket, typically that does not increase your value over time. And a perfect example of this, guys, is if you would have put $100,000 in the stock market in the year 2000, it would be worth approximately $320,000 today, even with this correction. If you would have put $80,000 in the stock market and $20,000 into gold, it's worth $385,000. So you have an extra $65,000 in your pocket just because of that diversification.
And I think that is the key. Because my second follow-up question, Kevin, and I see in our chat a lot, is people say, I can't afford this right now.
Yeah, we see what's going on in the world.
But then I think they also have 401ks. They're all out there with retirement funds. And so could you walk them through, like, if they call, the number we give, they call that number, they talk to someone there, they've already got resources in their funds. I think what you guys could do is actually help them take some of those resources, just like you said with that example. You're not saying take it all out of the stock market. You're saying if you take this piece and you would have put it there, you would have had this extra amount of cash.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, most times we recommend not going over 20% in the precious metals market for that type of diversification. So when people call, if they have money outside of an IRA, we'll go over what they have, make some recommendations to them, and then those people can decide from there. And like you said, they call the 800 number. We've got free information that goes out first so that people understand the questions to ask. And then if they have a 401k or an IRA, we can help walk through how that would look for a portion of the IRA or 401k to be moved over to a precious metals physical IRA, which is a very simple process. We can walk people right through that.
Yeah, can you tell me, Kevin, just a little bit more about Lear Capital in general, how you got started in this? And also, I love the fact that you're supporting our show. You're one of our first partners here, first sponsors, and we appreciate that because there is some backbone and some values that go on in this company, and obviously we appreciate that.
Yeah, I've been around so long that I was on Salem Radio Network in 1997, which is when I started the company, and we would run the ads on Salem, and it would end up on your father's show, which is I'm a big fan of. Your dad Jay is great. So we've been around since 1997. I started off in the international banking industry, and we used to capitalize these international banks all around the world with currencies, and they would fluctuate all over the place because there wasn't a euro. It was the Italian lira and French franc. And one day we said, well, geez, this is a lot easier if we capitalize some portion of the bank with gold, because then we just hedge the gold and it's a lot less volatile. That got me thinking about that as an investment, and I turned it into a company and wanted to present that same type of stability to people. So Lear Capital's been around since 97. We've done over $3 billion worth of business. have over 90,000 customers. And I think and I wish I would have done this a long time ago, but I think one of the things that make us different is we have a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee, meaning that anybody that does business with our company, we go over the exact purchase. We then send out the invoice to you by email or Federal Express. And you have 24 hours to cancel that deal for any reason whatsoever, giving you time to look at it, make sure the prices are okay, make sure all your questions are answered, and then consummate that transaction. So it's unique to us. It's been great for people because you get a question the next day that they may not have thought of. And I think it's very beneficial to, the listeners and our investors.
And Kevin, go back to like what I see in the chats, just from the first few weeks of our sponsorship, which we really appreciate because Lear stands behind people so we can speak out our voices and our opinions, and shows like ours exist because of you all. So we appreciate that. But people say, I don't think I have enough. They just don't think they have enough money to own gold, and they just don't understand. And now they're feeling the inflation. But I go back to most of them still do have these retirement accounts. They do have this money in the stock market.
Even if they're not thinking about it.
But you don't have to be a millionaire to invest this way.
No, our minimum investment outside of an IRA is $2,500. Our minimum investment in an IRA is $5,000. That's because there are some fees in an IRA that have nothing to do with Lear, and we just want to make sure you have enough money to cover those and continue to have it appreciate. But with this environment that we have right now with inflation, if someone's saying I can't afford any gold, look at silver, a little less expensive. I think it's completely undervalued compared to gold. And it's a great way to get in the market, but it's almost the opposite. You can't afford not to own some portion of your portfolio in gold with this inflation and interest rates going through the roof, because history has proven it's one of the best places to be when we're in the environment that we're in right now.
And I think people maybe in our demographic, when they hear gold, when they hear silver, they're thinking obviously metals, and they're thinking of that, but they're not thinking about also all the materials that these things get used for, why silver goes up, why gold goes up, whether that's the use in creating electronic devices, or there's a lot that happens in that market that maybe we're not thinking about. It's not just jewelry, and maybe even the monetary value of gold or whatever.
Or gold bar.
Yeah, exactly. In your head, that's kind of how you picture it. Yeah. But from what we've done here, and just a little bit of research and wanting to know your company and how it works, there is more to it that people don't think about, is all of the different uses and things that the reason that these prices go up and down.
Oh, yeah. The silver market, because of this green movement, a lot of silver is getting gobbled up in the solar industry. Without silver, the solar industry does not function. So you need that silver within that solar panel to create, the energy that it's going to create. So it's absolutely huge. And they're putting billions and billions of dollars all around the world into solar, like I said, for this green program. The other is battery technology. A lot of the batteries out there use some silver in battery technology. So one of the biggest things that are going on out there on the industrial side, uses a precious metal. And then we see all of these catalytic converters getting, chopped off cars and taken in for $400 and $500 a piece. Well, to reduce pollution in your car, you either need palladium or platinum, another precious metal that we work with. And so the industrial use there is going through the roof as well.
Yeah. So again, hopefully that gives people a really sort of rounded idea of what the market is that you're working in and what Lear Capital does. And again, we appreciate your support. And I think that it answers a lot of questions for me. I'm just being honest. Like, there are a lot of questions we all have, specifically in our age range. We're just starting to see, we've seen the ads for years, but maybe haven't done the next step of digging. Having you on here instead of just an ad read, I think was very informative to me.
And to know those entry prices.
I know
you
that
can get in on this on $2,500.
Yeah, I've been watching those ads.
That's very different than I think what people think when they see these prices.
I thought it'd be another zero on there to get in. So the fact that you could get in at $2,500 is at least something that is obtainable for some people. Maybe not everybody, but for some people as they start looking at it.
Especially they have accounts already set up, which is they've been paying into for if they're older.
Yeah.
And I think too, the final thing is to say is you don't really get to pick like when these moments happen, right? Like inflation but you try to pick when you retire.
Yeah.
And we're not at that point right now, but this would be a very tough time if you didn't have other ways to kind of diversify your accounts. You might say, I got to work 5 more years.
Yeah.
And this, I think, helps you make better, long-term decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, there's an easy way to do it. And this is just the plug portion of this is give them a call and talk to them. They'll lead you through it. It is 800 800-430-2919. Call them. Use that number because thanks to people like Kevin, they support this show. And when you call using that specific number, it tells them you came from us. So we really would appreciate you using that number. And again, that is 800-430-2919. And Kevin, thank you for coming on here and really just breaking it down and explaining
I appreciate that. It's really clear.
And to have someone who founded the company on, it doesn't happen that often with even our partners and sponsors. In other podcasts, other broadcasts I've worked on, usually you don't get to the very top. And it's awesome that within the first week of doing this, you were able to come on and explain this to us. So I appreciate you taking some time to do that.
Yeah, happy to be on and proud to be a sponsor, and look forward to great things ahead.
Thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
I think we're allowed, Kevin, too, like more in the future, bring it back on.
Yeah, I think
because of this crazy market.
There's a lot we can probably dive into.
Land of the brave and a home of the free and a country full of people feel just like me.